that when we compare it to Flash and like how excited we got the prospect of Thawne returning.
Yeah. Well, I've always been into Thawne.
We'd rather take what is the return of what has been considered one of the biggest criticisms of the show, which is evil speedsters. Will we gladly take that one back over what we got now?
No, okay, if Thawne is different from just another evil speedster, let's just get that straight.
The evil speedster.
Like
he's a character who's not just defined by I run fast.
Right, another Thawne knockoff, another Zoom, or another Savitar would piss me off.
I would take another Zoom because I like Zoom. I still like Zoom.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Another rival or whatever.
Okay, I was literally about to say the rival.
Someone here's the thing: if we did yet another Zoom, I'd be like, okay, this is fine. But if they did that for a whole season, I would get pissed. Now, if they brought back Zoom as the Black Flash as like a half-season villain or even a full-season villain, that's another story. But another Savitar or another rival, I would just get pissed off.
Well, the problem is if they wanted to do like, was it Godspeed? I feel like you need like an entire season setup for that character.
You can't drop Godspeed on people because Arlen, how familiar are you with the Godspeed character?
I know enough. I know enough.
He would have to be in the show now.
He would have to be. No, he would have to be in the show probably last season. He would need to be Julian.
You need to be setting him up the way that they set up DeVoe over the past couple seasons.
Yeah, the problem is August Hart in the comics is like it's Barry's like he's a good friend of Barry's, like he's a cop, and Barry's always like you're a good dude, August, and like as soon as he gets a Speed Force, he's like you have any idea what I could do with this power? And like the first thing he does is drag a criminal to death in the street while running at full Speed Force speeds.
Damn.
He murders the shit out of that dude.
And how he works well because he has kind of similar backstory because his brother was murdered.
Yeah.
And he does the things
he goes right after that dude, I think, who killed his brother.
Yeah.
So it's like it's sort of like a Punisher Daredevil thing, kind of.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would be into that.
And it's another kind of reflection of Barry because like if Barry was like, because Barry refuses to just outright murder Thawne.
Right.
But it's like if Barry got the Speed Force and was like, I'm gonna go find this motherfucker and kill him dead immediately. Right. But of course, now we know it's impossible because you can kill Reverse Flash and he just pops up behind you like, haha.
So here's the thing. That's different from Savitar, which is like the way I think of Savitar is a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like the Godspeed arc finishes with like because August is like, you're my best friend, Barry, so I'm going to do you a big favor. I'm going to run to Iron Heights, and I'm going to kill every one of the rogues in there.
Right, that's an interesting
And so, like,
idea.
it all... Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm going to start with Thawne, and then they just run it, they have a brawl.
Yeah.
And recently, it actually culminated with Godspeed actually basically saying, like, what I did was wrong, and you were right about me the entire time. And, like, does a full circle and comes back to, like the side of good.
Interesting.
And the thing is, if they would have been setting this up, what happened in this shitty Flash episode would have been even more interesting when confronted by Godspeed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Flash would actually have to deal with the fact that if I just offed my villains, I would save lives. It's that whole superhero not killing conundrum.
Right. That would here's the thing, that would automatically be more interesting. That kind of thing I would be interested in. Again, it's just like say they decided to do the comic book version of Hunter Zolomon, which they could still do, because Hunter exists in this universe.
We've seen him,
and there's nothing to say that he's not evil too, because we never established that Earth 2 is actually Earth 3. Earth 3 is the DCEU, as we all know. But no, he still exists, so he could easily become the Zolomon from the books, who he isn't moving super fast. He's stopping.
Yeah, he's
time.
He's not harnessing the Speed Force. He's manipulating the environment around him to appear that he's moving at super speed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had a shitty character like that in season 1.
Yeah, the turtle, who's
Yeah.
But they could make that interesting this time.
The problem is you need like someone who can map out an entire season before you start filming, and not this like what feels like in the last 2 seasons. Like you get an idea and then you film stuff, and then like halfway through you're like, oh crap, we never finished this idea.
Hang on, the thing about this, and I feel like we just transitioned over to Flash, but last season they came out right in front and said, "Hey, Dr. Alchemy's the villain."
Yeah, and they either lied or they changed their minds.
That wasn't even like a PR puff piece. That was a lie.
They lied to
a
us.
straight up lie.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, like halfway, like a few episodes in, people were like, "Hang on, no, you cast Savitar.
Right.
Like, don't try to play this game with us. It's like the John Harrison thing with fucking Star Trek all over again. Like, that's Khan.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
like-
Yes, it is.
Like Alan was in the chat and he was like, they cast Savitar, and we all were in disbelief. Like, we didn't believe what he was telling us because we were convinced that they weren't doing that.
I was also not convinced because, like, you look at Savitar and go,
Yeah, I looked up Savitar. I was like, I hope they're not doing that. A weird Greek man, like where, like,
I don't know. In retrospect, it would have looked better.
I mean, yes, better than Megatron, like mini Megatron.
melted Megatron.
Yeah, just
Michael Bay-esque.
Yeah, a giant fucking Megatron action figure. That's what he was.
And like this season, it wasn't really to that extreme, but they came out to like, yeah, no more speedsters, no more speedsters. Yeah, we're gonna do the Thinker. It's, his brain is faster than Barry's, and that's what the struggle is. I'm like, no, it's just like he just seems to have his knowledge and predictions at this point are too convenient for believability.
Yeah.
Although, as someone watching the show, I can predict everything that's going to happen because I'm like, oh, what's the worst choice? And that's what happens.
Well, and here's the thing too. It's also like, this goes back to last season too. I have to watch this group of people who I've been told are the protagonists, who I'm also told are a bunch of smart people. Like you have a doctor, Harry, who's just a smart man. I'm not sure what his PhD is in.
He's a genius.
He has like 12 or something like that.
He's Elon Musk on their planet.
Cisco was the apprentice to Earth One, Harrison Wells / Elon Musk. Barry's a forensic detective. Joe is a detective. Iris is whatever. And they've had a few other people come and go to add experience and stuff to this team.
Right.
And I continuously watch them do stupid things.
Well, it's because Barry's stupid, so they all have to be stupid.
Stupid things.
I'm getting really sick of Barry being the dumbest person in the room when he's supposed to be extremely smart.
Also, you know what I'm sick of? When Barry lays out Ralph in this episode, it is the most capable he's looked against anybody in a season and a half.
Yeah.
Why is it he can beat the fuck out of one of his best friends, but when it comes to a villain who's about to murder someone, he's completely useless?
Also, okay, can we talk about the whole you should never kill the villains thing or whatever that he's getting at?
Yeah, let's go for that.
Let's go down the list of main villains throughout this entire show and how many of them he actually killed. Let's go from season 1. Let's see. They killed the original Weather Wizard. Yeah.
Yes.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
They killed the electric shock guy. He was fucking vaporized.
Well, he sends Girder to his death.
He sends Girder to his death, and then kills Girder again.
Yeah. He kills him and then zombie Girder.
They get the Joe kills what's his face, the guy who can change his appearance.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what are we at 4 or 5?
And then did they kill Earthquake Dude? Does Teddy Sears kill Earthquake Dude? I can't remember.
I think he gets captured.
I think Captain Cold kills Laser Eyes.
He does.
That's, what's his name from Shape of Water.
Yeah, to show like dominance or whatever.
So that's what, 7? 6.
Yeah. And then that's just down to the main villain, Thawne. Barry doesn't have a choice not to kill Thawne because Thawne gets killed by Thawne. different.
He gets
Thawne,
killed
though.
by Eddie.
Also,
Yeah,
like
Eddie
Thawne
Thawne.
basically straight up tells him like, if like I'm gonna end this fight, and after I kill you, I'm gonna kill everybody
Yeah.
in this room. And
Yeah.
like, first of all, and like again, Barry doesn't win that fight. Eddie wins the fight for him.
Mhm.
Which
he's-
is like it's he basically is the winner of season 1, and he's vastly uncredited.
And he doesn't have the choice to not kill Zoom because again, Zoom gets taken by the Speed Force.
First of all, arguably, he sends
he-
Zoom off to a fate worse than death. He just condemns him to be taken.
I would say that he basically kills Zoom because he does stuff in order to get the race.
He also kills himself.
Yeah.
So it's like
he inadvertently gets his father killed.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Forget villains. Let's stack up the bodies of good guys that have laid down their lives for Barry.
Is Barry Allen the greatest serial killer of our time?
Eddie, Ronnie, Ralph, Harry. No, I'm sorry, not Harry. Henry, HR, 5.
Yeah.
Plastique from season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I could be missing out a few, but that's 6.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And now, I'm sorry. Season 4. Season 4. Add 12 to that number.
Yeah, those are all his fault. Every single one of them. They're all
Barry has
his
got
fault.
more people killed than any of his villains have.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that when you have, and this goes to Supergirl too, when you have somebody so like with a power where he's basically a god, the only way to make him not a god is to make him dumb where he's not using his abilities. Because if he can move so fast that you literally can't see him, why isn't he basically always moving at that speed?
And they're not trying to bring the problems that he runs into in the comics to the screen. Like I think one of the more recent runs is that he was exhausting himself looking for the rogues because the rogues all attack Central City at once, and he just couldn't find them. He's like, I have no idea where they.
It was a great story, that he, no matter what he did, his powers they weren't enough.
And then he kept lying to people around him. He was lying to Iris. He kept lying to Wally. He was lying to everybody else. And he just he mentally wore himself out. And then recently up until Grodd showed up, and Grodd beat the shit out of him.
And Grodd, in that story, Grodd also plays on his hubris and his ego.
Yep.
Because if he just sits there and does nothing, they would win. But instead, he doesn't trust any of his followers, and he goes and screws everyone.
Yep. And instead, they've opted to just instead of playing on any kind of relatable problems that Barry would have, they create random moments of stupidity and inability for him, and he just comes off looking like a goon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you look at this episode, so he gets the Thinker is using, what's this Null's power to make him heavy,
right? And
he only figures out or decides to phase after Ralph is dead.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, you're
why aren't you trying everything to save your goddamn friend?
I'm so
just looking at his eyes longingly as his brain gets mushed.
This whole season's great. Because here's the thing, I saw the I'm gonna take Ralph's body over the moment Ralph turned into DeVoe during the court.
Okay, and
100%.
here's the fuckery with that. You're telling me DeVoe's I don't care if DeVoe's plan was to get Ralph sooner. It doesn't matter now because this is how it's played out. DeVoe went through 11 steps to get to the point where he could transform himself back into his older body and be immune to the degenerative side effects. Fuck you.
Yeah. Also, from the perspective of the people producing the show, they cast 5. No, how many is it? 4 other actors to play DeVoe who are all they're in a different league of bad actors who none of them could even live up to him. It wasn't even half of them were good and half of them were bad. They were all terrible.
And why did you give Ralph all this development that you didn't give anybody else this season? Because Barry's done fuck all. Barry hasn't done a goddamn thing this season except lose. Iris developed into a nag and then seemingly stepped back into the sidelines. Joe has done nothing. Harry has done a little bit. Cisco has done nothing.
Well,
Caitlin has done nothing.
Joe knocked up his girlfriend.
The only person who's done anything is Harry. Harry is actively trying to do something, but his story is so unsatisfying because
it is.
It's turned into like a drug addict thing. And again, like they're setting up that he's gonna be like mind controlled by Thawne at some point so hard. It's not even funny. Like when that happens, I'm gonna laugh because like, okay, you guys were telegraphing this, and you basically told us what's gonna happen.
Like we wanted this, but the way you went about it was a little dumb. But thanks anyway.
Yeah. It's like also we're gonna lose a character because of this, but thanks. Thanks for that.
We're gonna lose our third Wells.
Yeah.
I don't mind losing a third Wells and getting somebody else, but like, I just don't understand. Like, I feel like when you guys are talking about Ralph, I think they were trying to go for like a pulling at your heartstrings moment in this last episode, and instead you're just like, fuck you.
If the rest of the show had been good, it would have worked. That's the thing.
This is what I mentioned in the beginning of this episode of the show about earned moments and unearned moments. This was completely unearned, forced, and manipulative.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly. They wanted it to be
make
earned.
me feel sad, and instead I'm just like, no, fuck off. This is bad.
If the second half of the season had been good, we would be super into this.
Especially because like if this was the plan all along, you shouldn't have made me care about Ralph Dibny, and he should have been the first meta that the Thinker went after, because that is the most pragmatic thing to do.
There's like so many other things this episode does.
If you need a new body, and you need a new body that's basically immune to the degenerative issues that you are currently going through, you would not go through extra steps to get there. That would be priority number one.
Okay.
And
the only reason is that you're just fucking with him.
Yeah, so here's the thing. While I agree with that, I do understand making us care about him. It's to make it punch harder, but again, like, if the rest of the season had made sense, again, like, we would be all in favor of him dying at this point.
Also, this is the only time that DeVoe has ever had excuse. He didn't even need to use it, but he had an excuse to use the totem power.
Yeah.
The totem power. The fucking statue power.
Okay, so that's...
And it was still dumb.
So that's
like, you're telling me you carry around a fucking tiny little skeleton of a T-Rex just to throw at somebody?
That was so okay. So that's something that's a nickname that I have for that is the it's the inflating ski coat problem, which is that in what is it? The World Is Not Enough. James Bond has an inflating ski coat. Because he's going to get stuck in an avalanche later on in the movie. That's the only reason he has that ski coat. Because later on in the script, it says there's going to be an avalanche, and he has to survive that avalanche. It's not a gadget that's invented for multi-purpose or just anything. It's specifically for a thing that he doesn't know is going to happen, but the script knows it will happen.
So you mean like when they put a whole bunch of tech into Barry's flash suit?
Yes.
Like the inflatable thing?
And one of them was called the Babel Protocol because Batman reference.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, you created a character that could do totems for an episode about totems, an episode that we said was insensitive, and I still think was insensitive, so that you could later on have Ralph fighting a T-Rex in the last part of the season.
That is... I would just like to mention that is two fights with T-Rexes in these shows this week.
When you put that together like that, that is some stupid shit.
You made
Okay, normally I'd be on board with this, but I'm kind of like, no.
You made a very offensive Native American caricature. And I'm not even Native American, and I'm very deeply offended by the fact that they did that.
I don't want to get on this pedestal, and I don't want to piss anybody off. But it needs to be said about that character that you took a Native American who's trying to, like, get back stuff that was stolen from her people by rich white dudes, and you made her the bad guy. That is...
Yeah.
I don't want to use the phrase, but that's fucking... Like, that's high-end, shitty white privilege.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's...
And I hope that episode was written by Kreisberg.
I'm not trying to be a social justice warrior, but you have to think about that and go, that's a little insensitive.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like, even Killmonger, we're on his side to some degree.
Yeah. And now, like, the the list of stupid shit in this episode you think could be done with, and it's not, because they let this poor hippie dude also get killed. They let Null get killed.
They let random Asian guy get
in
killed.
2 episodes get killed. By the way, all off screen. You don't get to see any of it because we're too busy watching Ralph run from a T-Rex.
Yep.
So he can make a quip and punch it. Then they attempt to restrain DeVoe, and Ralph, the whole episode, is like, I'm going to kill him. 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 I'm not going to kill him.
And they actually give like a very good reason why it's like, oh, it's not selfish reasons. Like that was like the best part of the episode. It's like, no, it's not for me.
His argument back to Barry was ironclad.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not being selfish because I'm scared for my life. He's like, I don't want him coming after any of you because I care about all you people. And it makes Barry look like a douche, first of all.
Well, he's looked like a douche the entire season.
I mean, he has.
And then so Ralph backs off his master plan of killing DeVoe when he has him against the ropes, and then slaps. I'm sorry. What does he put on the guy who can control technology? Technology-based handcuffs.
Yeah. Good job.
That he immediately breaks out of and kills Ralph.
It's really dumb. And here's the thing, like, what I would have done is I would have had Ralph kill him, but DeVoe had another plan. That's
what I would have done.
Like, DeVoe had some other plan to still take over Ralph's body, even if he had killed him. Therefore, making it so that Ralph was wrong. By killing him, he did what DeVoe wanted.
Or what I would have done is had him go for the killing blow, and DeVoe's wife eats it. Mm-hmm. And then DeVoe leaves, and then he has to deal with the fact that now, like, all the crap he's been doing to his wife, which has since gone without any issues, like, kind of, he has to deal with that she still saved him.
See, and here's the other thing about that, too. Quite frankly, if DeVoe was supposed to be this, like, ultra thinker who has to come up with solutions to every little problem, I would have thought that he would have found a way to ice his wife already.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to kill her.
And we need to go into his wife.
He just keeps, like, date rape drugging her.
We really, because his wife was one of the best characters in the beginning. Like, we all loved that character at the beginning of this season.
I loved them as a couple. I thought they were fantastic. Yeah. Because I'm like, we have a villain couple who is so enamored with each other that, like, their relationship is based on, like, professional love and personal love.
They also had great chemistry, and then playing off of the terrible relationship that is Barry and Iris was great. Yeah. Where she's completely useless to everything they do.
And then this episode with Iris pulls a gun out from under the desk or whatever.
Because it's like a liquor store.
Also, Joe can fight a samurai.
Okay, here's the thing. I was all right with that.
I'm all right with it because in my back of my head, I imagine that, like, Joe dropped his gun, and then just, like, bit the samuroid's head off, like, literally.
I'm into that. I mean, this is the same guy who was like, if you hurt my son, I will come after you. Doesn't matter where you go, what
I don't care if you're a time traveler. I will figure out a way to time travel, and I will come fuck you up. And Thorne's like, I believe it.
Yeah, so...
Well, that leads to the whole problem with Barry. It's like, all right, so Barry's this guy where we don't kill, but his second father literally constantly says, I will kill anyone that hurts my family.
Yeah.
Just like Ralph says.
Also, as we discussed before, Barry has killed many people.
Yeah. So, like, where did this sense of not killing come from?
Like,
also, like, the only reason he didn't kill Thawne in Crisis is because Thawne started taunting him.
Right.
Because Thawne does say, he's like, come on, you've killed me 12 times. Go ahead, do it again.
Yeah.
But that's, again, at least in the comics, you have, 70 years of, like, backstory to build on. Like, they've never shown in the show.
Also, like, that's the other thing, too. Like, you need to show me Barry breaking Thawne's neck at some point. That has to happen. Like, this whole, we can't kill our villains, it's wrong thing. No, Barry has to break. Like, this needs to happen, because this is the thing that kind of sets, like, it
I would
kind of
go
adds
for that,
layer.
Or what they just did at the end of the run we were talking about before, when Thawne shows up and brings him to the future.
Yeah.
If I actually cared about Iris. Which I don't.
And I got into a little bit of an argument with Alan over that, because Alan's like, oh no, I think her character from the show is pretty spot on from the comics. I was like, bull fucking shit.
she's like supposed to be kind of Lois Lane's rival almost in like reporting.
Dude, not Lois Lane. Iris West in the comics so far, especially Rebirth, has balls bigger than any like dude on the page so far. Like she sits there and listens to Thawne taunt Barry for an entire issue, and then just has enough of it and blows his fucking head off.
Mm-hmm.
It's and then yells and then tells Barry, "Take me home, and then don't speak to me ever again."
It was great, and I think in the universe it's like her and Lois is kind of a more like publicly known like big name writer, like a New York Times writer, where Iris West is the more like investigative reporter breaking like deep stories.
And she's snappy and like kind of thinks that like Barry's all of his flaws are adorable. Where like she calls him out, but she's like, "Hey, you're late again. Look at that. It's fastest man alive. Can't be on time for anything." She makes fun of the way he dresses and all that stuff, but she thinks she's enamored by him. And this, she just likes him because she has to.
Right, and because the script says they're supposed to like each other.
And then the script, and then this. Okay, let's go back to DeVoe for a second. DeVoe's superpower is omnipotent knowledge of the script. That's what his power is.
Yes,
it's not that he's a quick brain. He knows how the plot's going to pan out, and thus has an answer for
the fourth wall.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when he doesn't actually explain it, he's like, "Oh, he just probabilitied it out to the point where he just planned for each probability."
And when he says like, "Oh yeah, I knew Harry would build a thinking cap, and that would be his undoing." What? Ooh, we found a nerve.
I mean, because Harry could have just like plugged those little magic things in and stopped everything, but instead chooses to put on a tinfoil hat.
It stretches beyond the measure of like, oh, I'm deducing this with extra curricular and super powered probability thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's based on knowledge you don't actually have because you never leave this fucking room.
Right. And you're kind of spying on them sometimes, but not really.
Well, is that like what the cap does? Because Harry takes out the people's names from nowhere.
Yeah.
Those last two. So is he just like kind of connecting to like a collective unconscious? Like, I don't understand what the cap does. To make him kind of psychic.
I don't know what the cap does either. It really bothers me. Maybe it's the dark matter, if I had to guess.
Right.
Like the dark matter shows the other parts of the universe, kind of.
You watch the TV show?
It's like an etching, kind of. You know, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
The thinking cap's power is the scene from Spaceballs where they pop in Spaceballs.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're watching the show.
We're looking at now.
Yeah. Now?
You get to view the show with Prime.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or it's like Lawnmower Man.
Just loathing when we have to do that for a movie, I'm sure at some point soon. But yeah, this might be my least favorite episode of the season so far.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Now let's move on to something that's somehow worse, because we're just going to keep talking about this if we don't.
It's not my least favorite episode of the season, but it's like the episode that's like, I'm almost done with this show episode.
I think that I think for me, this is the worst episode of the season.
It's very bad. I hate it.
Because I have to go back through. I do still have a spreadsheet, so I can go off of like what we've said in the past, what the worst one is, but like, I can't think of one that made me more angry other than like the courtroom episode. That one pissed me off a lot. But other than that, I can't think of anything that really like, wow, fuck this show. Like, yeah, this is I'm speechless. I'm really just unable to.
So, does anyone want to remind me of what happened on Supergirl this week? Because I was in like a fugue state.
I just watched it a couple hours ago. So there were Toyman died. His coffin exploded.
Right.
Wynn's mom is an Academy Award nominated actress.
Yep.
They're flying monkeys. She figures out that where it is. She also tells Wynn that he threatened to kill the kid if she got near him.
Yes.
And he's been crazy forever. Martian Manhunter's dad has Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Trying to think.
Monel Mon-El found out about a secret mission because guess what? By coincidence, one of the world killers is also the Blight.
I still so basically I haven't watched any other episode this season. So they're using the Supergirl storyline from like the one run in New 52
Okay, I didn't
with
know
these
that.
world killers because that's where they brought the world killers in. It's like I never really read Supergirl until New 52. They showed like 5 of them, and it was like a 4 or 5 issue run where they were like genetic creations created by her father.
Huh. That sounds way more interesting.
I believe she actually ended up kind of being one as well. She was like sort of not his daughter. She was like a kind of his genes and genetically modified Kryptonian.
That's not what they've done in this season. In this season, it's basically a cult that created Rain, or as I've dubbed her, Porn Sauron.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's one of the world killers, and then the other one is she's just Banshee. Am I wrong? Is she not just the same character but slightly stronger?
Like here, okay, and I think I've said this before, but I'm sure we've all said it before. One of Supergirl's biggest crippling problems is villains.
Yeah, because they don't know how to do villains right.
Here's the thing, and it's just like what you said, Lou.
Mm-hmm.
Making a show about Kryptonians is way harder than making a show about speedsters.
Yeah.
Because speedsters have weaknesses. That's quite a lot of them, actually.
Yeah.
Kryptonians have, like, 2.
That's why you don't make a show about Kryptonians, you make a show about people. Star Trek is not about the ship, believe it or not. It's about the people on the ship.
And because this show, because I guess this network feels the need to repeat a formula of, no, we gotta have bad guys. Everybody has to have a bad guy to fight every week. There gotta be a fight scene or do something. You've created this problem where it's like you nerf Supergirl to the point where like she's getting downed by the dumbest thing. She's can apparently drown. Oh. What?
You mean like how she got sealed in a piece of plastic?
That was so dumb. That was so dumb.
This is what I fucking remember. God damn it.
Okay. That's when Comic Book Guy did that in a Treehouse of Terror. That was a joke, Supergirl writers. That's a joke. That's not supposed to be serious. If you saw it in a Treehouse of Horror, you should never do it.
And like it's also had a problem with characters like Mon-El, who like, what is Mon-El's purpose?
He's been fine this season, and it's all to introduce the Legion, but the Legion hasn't been anything.
They haven't done a fucking thing.
Like, they've been there in the background, standing around, like Saturn Girl's like, "Hi, I'm here," and I'm and Rainy's there too. I guess. But
so my question is this Legion just ignoring like the kind of principle of time travel that every time travel thing, including Legends, talks about, of not changing the past?
So they got trapped back in time.
Well, we just learned in this episode that was not true.
No, okay, so I assume you know more about the Blight than I do. Or do you?
I haven't watched any episode this season. So.
Well, no, okay, so Blight is from a Legion story, I guess. Like, I guess in Legion of Superhero Comics, Blight is like the Joker, basically.
Okay, I don't think I really read a lot of Legion,
right?
Because they're like a little too goofy for my taste.
I get that. It's kind of I understand. I haven't read any, but I did watch the second cartoon that they did. It wasn't Tim style animation. It was very weird.
Well, seeing Bubble Boy get the fuck out.
Yeah, but no. So like Blight is like they're basically like space zombies. So they came back in time to stop the space zombies from happening. And I guess one of the world killers evolves into Blight, as they say in the episode, which is like, okay. I mean, I guess I see why you would keep that a secret, but I also don't see why you would keep that a secret, especially if you know it's one of the world killers. Like, telling her that we are here to deal with the world killers isn't going to spoil the world killers for her. Like, do you know what I mean? Like telling somebody that they're going to eat ice cream isn't going to stop them from eating ice cream.
Usually it does the opposite. When you tell someone not to do something, they do it. It's like, don't push this red button.
It's the Inception philosophy. Don't think about elephants. What do you think about elephants?
Right. Mm-hmm. It's like, why would you not? Like, she's gonna do it anyway. She's gonna deal with this anyway. You aren't warning her not to open a door to the Phantom Zone later on in a future season or something like that. You're simply guiding her through something that she has to go through anyway, that you're probably already written into the timeline as having helped her do. It's just that you're not recorded as having done that. So it's kind of a dumb thing to do, I guess. Like, it's a thing of, well, the plot says that they tell them here, so that's when they're gonna do it. But it doesn't actually make any logical sense to not tell her before now, other than to have a dramatic reveal, which wasn't that dramatic.
No, he was like, "Oh, I remember. Like, I lied to you. Now I know how it feels. My bad."
Mm-hmm. It's just.
And if you want to get back to it, after I put in the chat, I remember the storyline of what the world killers were and what ended up happening. Basically, her dad created this program, and what ends up happening is you find out that and it was dumb, but the New 52 Cyborg Superman was her father, and he ends up capturing her because he doesn't remember who he is,
right?
And he needs her DNA to restore his Kryptonian biology because Brainiac jacked him up. And it becomes really weird, and then it ends where she when she finds out what her father did, I think she gets one of the Red Lantern rings for an issue, and
oh, shit,
yeah, and everyone's like, oh no, this is not good, because I think she beats the crap out of Atrocitus, and I think
I would love to see that.
I think Superman has to talk her down, and then she is able to get the ring off.
It's a damn shame I don't have access to Injustice 2 right now, because I would go do that immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when she figures out that her father just was not this nice guy, that he was he's basically, she finds out in the New 52 version, her father was Krypton's Lex Luthor.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
so because there's not that much to talk about, since you guys since other than me and Lou, we don't really remember most of it. I'll say this: the human moments, the points where human beings were talking about real issues and family drama and stuff, that stuff was all good.
And this is what I think this show needs to be more of. And I can't remember. I think it was. Yeah, I was just kind of thinking about it to myself today. One of my favorite recent issues of DC's comics from the Rebirth line was nothing but Bruce, Clark, Selina, and Lois going
the double
to a
date
fair.
To the carnival.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was the best.
That was riveting.
Yeah,
because it played on the fact that they were superheroes, but they were superheroes who were forced to be fucking normal for 2 hours.
Yeah, his thing. That sounded good enough that I almost started reading comics again. That's how interesting.
You should just read that issue. You need to read that issue.
It's that one and the one before it are awesome, when they're in the elevators together, when it's Clark talking to Lois and Bruce talking about how they're not really friends.
It's a 2-issue arc where it's Bruce and Clark are talking separately to their significant others about Bruce and Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And how they're we're friends, but we're not friends, but we are friends, but we're not really friends, but we're pals, but we're not.
But
and then
there's that, and it's they're talking about how I don't understand how he does what he does. He came from a planet, he's the only one left of his species, and then you flip over, it's he lost his parents. He's I grew up with 2 amazing parents, and they keep flipping back and forth on how they pity but respect the other one so much that they can't ever truly be friends.
Huh. Interesting.
some of the best comic writing I've seen in a while.
I'm not going to tell you how it ends, but it culminates with a bet that Batman can hit a pitch from Superman.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
And it breaks that, like, it leads up to Bruce going like, look, he can only throw the ball so fast before it evaporates. I have a chance.
And I believe the carnival is like a superhero night, so they have to dress up.
God,
but they don't want to look too conspicuous,
Yes.
so Bruce and Clark switch costumes, and Clark puts on his glasses over the bat cowl.
Here's the thing, that would be Bruce. That's such a Bruce thought. He can only hit it so hard before it evaporates.
Oh yeah, they have him start to break it down, and like Selena's like, I don't care. Why is this a thing?
Dude, Selena and Lois become BFFs over the course of like 2 hours. By the end of it, they're both shit faced, like leaning on each other, going like, "I love you."
Yeah. I think Lois sneaks a flask in.
Yes. No. Selena does.
Selena. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very Selena. That's very.
I think Supergirl needs more of that.
It needs human
because
connection.
like some of my favorite Flash moments were like one of my favorite Flash moments from season 2, I think, is when Henry comes home.
Yeah.
And it's just a big party sequence.
I mean, we were talking before we went on air about how the best stuff in season 1 of Supergirl is Cat Grant and Kara.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best stuff.
Cat Grant's a character, since she's a older than Kara woman, calls out Kara on every single one of her dumb things.
Yeah.
She's like, what are you doing? You're a woman. Like, just because you're a woman doesn't mean you can do this, or doesn't mean you can't do this. Just like, stop being an idiot and do what you're gonna do.
And then my biggest problem with season 2 was that in lieu of Cat, like, you had Guardian pop up and you had Mon-El pop up. And like
it's the season of like dates.
Where
it was a season of imposing male figures who were standing up to like, I'll help you, Supergirl, because you're a girl.
Well, because it should have just been Snapper Carr. Like, Snapper Carr should have stepped up and been sort of her new mentor, and he could have been, because he's not the kind of character who needs to be like overly masculine, because he's not. He's a news reporter. They aren't like these super masculine guys.
He just doesn't have time, and that's enough.
Supergirl's Dr. Cox, essentially. Like,
yes, actually that's a great analogy.
That's a perfect way of explaining it. Like, he could have been a very I struggle not to say gender neutral mentor to her, and he could have filled that role very easily. And I still don't understand why they decided to forgo her and Jimmy just having a relationship for Jimmy being Guardian, and then bringing in a completely other character to be her relationship that didn't really, like, we never got into that relationship. I never cared about her and Mon-El as anything other than friends. The moment that they actually got into a relationship and they were like, oh, we like each other or we love each other, I was like, oh, I don't care about you two. Because we don't have many TV shows on air where a man and woman can just be friends. Like,
the only episode where they come off as believable is the musical episode.
Yeah, that's the only time where they have any chemistry.
But they're not together. Iris and Mon-El are together in it.
Yeah, and also they broke up the episode before, which is what made that insane. It's like because of something that they saw in a fake reality, they decided that they are in love with each other in the real reality. When it's fake, it's not real. Like,
especially, and here's the thing: Grant Gustin and Melissa Benoist have a million times more chemistry than they have with their fictional significant others.
Oh, yes.
You know who has a lot of chemistry with Grant Gustin?
Felicity.
Yeah.
Or every other female character that he interacts with.
Patty Spivot.
Caitlin, like the episode where she's like drunk, was really endearing.
That's one of my favorite episodes of season 1.
Or Dr. Light. What's her fucking?
Well, no, he can't hook up with her because that's Wally West.
Whatever.
White Wally West's wife.
I don't care. She's in the show and they're the same age. They can do it.
At this point in Flash, I would not be surprised, like I said a couple episodes back, if they brought in the other Wally West from the original timeline.
Hi, I'm Wally.
Now, I have like a weird, after this episode of Flash and then watching Supergirl, I have like a weird thing where I feel like those two shows almost need to lose their teams, and they would be better.
No, okay. We've said this before too, like, and it actually is a part of the Guardian problem. They need to stop putting people in suits. Like,
yeah, Mon-El is the only one who gets a suit. As far as I'm concerned,
it's not even just suits. It's like, all right, so especially like in Supergirl, it's like, why does she need a team?
She doesn't.
Why does she need anyone around her? And kind of similar with Flash, like, why does he need any of this?
Well, okay,
it's like, all right, he's already OP and she's already OP, right, and then you're gonna give them a team of other super people. Why?
Okay, so Supergirl having John there as a extraterrestrial mentor, that makes sense. Like having another alien to teach her alien stuff, that works. Okay, her having her sister there is a
void. There is a void left by the original Harrison Wells because he was Thawne, and like through that relationship, like Thawne's worst enemy becomes his greatest student.
Mm-hmm.
And like by the end of it, like there is some probably pain and reluctance to the fact that like Wells-Abard has to fight this kid who he's like, I came here to kill you. I ended up making you better than you ever were, and now I gotta kill you again. Like,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
furious. I just want to go home.
I feel like, but to me, like Arrow has the opposite issue of Flash, where it's like Arrow was better with the team because he is underpowered. He's just a dude.
Yeah.
Well, it's like with Flash, it's like, all right, he's already not doing stuff when he could win. Now he has like 3 other, like slightly lower power leveled people with him that he should, like, it doesn't. There's no situation where Cisco, Flash, and Caitlin should not be able to stop with their power sets.
I agree.
Well, we didn't even talk about the fact that now Killer Frost is gone, apparently.
Yeah,
yes,
that was
because Melt.
Which actually, here's the thing. That was the part of the episode that actually got me emotional because, and it's sad because it's underdeveloped.
The Post-it notes.
The Post-it notes. I'm like,
if they would have done that,
sucks.
If they would have done that 5 episodes ago and then referenced it now,
if they built up to it, yeah, like, or even if it was just a thing in the
honestly,
background.
I feel like writers use Caitlin as a punching bag.
They do.
Oh, 100%. Especially an emotional punching bag.
Well, because they don't know what to do with her.
Anybody who makes a pass at her dies.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is because fans love her. She's awesome. That character has places it can go, but they just don't know what to do with her because, again, she's on a show where the person that's the name of the show is a speed god.
Yeah, she should have been on Legends this season.
Yes.
Oh. She should have been on Legends this season.
She should have taken Cold's spot.
Because the way that she ended things last season, everything, like her Killer Frost stuff would have been better served on Legends.
Have you been reading Justice League of America?
No.
Okay, so Batman, in that thing, Batman's built a second Justice League, and Frost is a member.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And it's Batman, Vixen, Black Canary, Frost, wait till it, the second Adam, Ryan Choi.
Okay.
And Lobo.
Okay, that's closer to Legends of Tomorrow than the Legends of Tomorrow comic book that they did.
Yes.
Still the worst comic book I have ever read, by the way.
Yeah, so like the whole thing in it, which they could have easily done in Flash, the show, it's Caitlin dealing with the fact that she has like heat vampirism, where she literally has cravings to draw heat from people, and she's trying to fight it. It's like an addiction thing.
That would be far more interesting.
And she kind of wants to her and Ryan have like a budding relationship, but she's afraid to touch him.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, like she would, and also like she would fit so well on the Legends team, and it would keep up the ratio. She makes up for Captain Cold being gone. Also,
and she's also a doctor and a genius.
Yeah, also
as well.
No Aminette Black.
Oh god.
Oh my god. And here's the thing, like that character's gonna come back because they still haven't dealt.
Oh no, she's gonna be in the finale. She's gonna be in the finale of this season. I guarantee it.
I just want her to come back and for someone to just like drop a heavy piece of truck on her,
Oh, I'd
like
be
a
into
bus.
that. Actually, here's the thing. That would make up for every single appearance if someone just dropped a truck on her.
And here's what bothers me the most: I fucking love Katie Sackhoff. Like everything she's in, I thought, like, what is it? The fucking Mirror movie. It's good. It's fine. She's great in it.
I mean, me and Hunter might fight you about that, but
I like
Yeah.
Oculus.
Wait, is that the one? I'm trying to think of what movie that is. Is that a horror movie?
Oculus is I'll say this: Oculus is a great premise.
It is. It's a
great
concept.
premise, and it's got Katie Sackhoff and Karen Gillan, and that's why it's worth watching.
It is worth watching until you get to the end of the film,
and then
it kind of cops out at the end.
It does,
and it doesn't earn its ending at all.
And it's also it doesn't make sense.
it doesn't.
But she was also in. She was one of the bigger parts of the last Riddick movie.
Yeah, and she was almost going to be Captain Marvel. I can't stress this enough.
I don't think that was much.
I think that there was about a year there where Kevin Feige would have been like, yeah, but Ike Perlmutter was still there. He was still present in Kevin Feige's life, and he hadn't challenged him to trial by combat yet. So yeah, he couldn't do that. But he couldn't cast her, I think. This is during the, we can't sell Black Widow toys because they won't sell. I run the toy division for Disney. That's a thing that
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I do think there was a point where the fan desire for that and the ability for her to be that character, it might have actually led to her being Captain Marvel, possibly, because she's such a well-known quantity that there's no way her picture and her name wasn't in the short list of people who could have gotten the role. Emily Blunt.
I just don't think she had the gravitas to really pull in, especially if they had any idea of doing a solo movie.
I agree with that, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that, because from the bits and pieces of Battlestar that I've seen, what makes her interesting is she's not a traditional lead.
Yeah, she plays the character as kind of, not trying to sound bad, but like guy-like.
Yeah,
she's supposed to be like an ace pilot, so she's kind of like a cocky dick.
I was gonna say she's kind of like Tom Cruise in Top Gun, almost, in a weird way. Like she's not supposed to necessarily be likable. She's not a traditional likable lead. Her whole thing is dickiness. In any movie that I've seen her in, she is kind of a bitch.
Well, and here's the thing: like Katie Sackhoff, not to say she appears to be masculine because she's fucking beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But Katie Sackhoff looks like someone who could beat my ass into oblivion.
Oh, she could kill all of us.
Yeah,
every single one of us.
She looks
especially in Riddick. She looks like she could fucking murder me 10 times over.
She's in that movie. She looks like she could kill Vin Diesel. Totally.
I feel like she has lost a lot of roles to like MMA women who transitioned. She Gina Carano was the one I think of.
Dude, that's fair.
Was in Fast and the Furious.
Gina Carano sucks too.
Do you know that she did a movie where they dubbed over her voice as if it was like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 1970s?
That's embarrassing.
I can't remember the name of the movie because it's her and Ewan McGregor, and they redubbed, they ADR'd all of her lines with another actress.
I feel like if she didn't, this is gonna sound sexist. I don't care. I feel like if Gina Carano didn't have massive boobs, she probably wouldn't get the attention.
The thing is, she was I am a UFC fan. She didn't fight in the UFC. She fought another organization. She was also an awesome fighter. She can actually kick the crap out of people.
Fight, but I don't think she's that great of an actress, and I think she's gotten by on her background, her appearance.
Yeah, her most famous fight is one that she lost, and she looks terrible. The movie's name was Haywire.
I remember this film.
Oh no.
Yeah, but
that was a major release too.
Yeah, she was good in Deadpool.
I mean, she's good
in Deadpool because she just has one job. Stand there and be monitored.
She's my favorite part of Fast 6, the best Fast and the Furious movie.
She's better than Ronda Rousey in acting.
That's true. She is. She's much. God, Ooh, when she fights.
Wow. Do you want to hear the list of actors in this Haywire movie and just feel bad for these people?
Oh, I know the whole list almost by heart. Michael Fassbender.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Isn't there someone from Game of Thrones in there too?
Here you got Channing Tatum, Michael Douglas, Antonio Banderas, Ewan McGregor. Oh yeah, there's Michael Fassbender. Yeah, there is a lot of names.
And this
in
was the height of Fassbender. This was like right before.
This is when before he started making really silly decisions.
This is like right after First Class, I think.
Yeah, it's right after First Class. Right after what's the movie where he's a sex addict and people discover that he has a giant hog?
Oh, I can't remember.
Shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
anyway, we veered very far off.
We really have because we don't care. Anyways, the human stuff is good. Carl Lumbly is really good in this episode. Again, Oscar-nominated star of Roseanne, unfortunately. She was in this episode.
I would argue on that. I've been watching the newest season of it, and I think it's actually pretty good.
I'm interested to hear more about that, probably at a later time.
I hear it's very smartly self-referential.
Yes,
and like one of the best gags I've seen so far was actually from the ads where Roseanne wakes up and she's like, "I thought you were dead." And Dan wakes up with an oxygen mask. He's like, "Why does everyone keep telling me I'm dead?"
Yeah, that's how they start the first episode.
That's awesome.
They do a very good job in the show, especially with her character. In the first episode, it's kind of like the problem is people get like all kind of annoyed at like politics, and they kind of touch it a little bit in the first episode where like Roseanne and Dan, who are two older white people in a Chicago suburb, are conservative, and then she's the kind of liberal aunt who's kind of maybe, and then like they kind of the whole episode like they haven't talked for a year, and when you see her, she's literally wearing like the pussycat hat and saying like all the stuff, and her and Roseanne just go at it.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of interesting stuff that they deal with like a 3-generation household,
right?
In 2018, I
don't know. I'm having a real hard problem with her like replying to people like "Hail Hitler" and stuff like that.
Roseanne the human.
Yeah, I'm having a real problem separating that from
put herself in check.
Yeah.
Well, she's also like very notably has had really bad mental health issues her entire life.
Yeah, and here's the thing: like I take the side of, okay, she's a comic, so she's probably joking.
Yeah. She's also really not the main character of this show.
Right.
It's the one daughter, I can't remember her name. The Darlene. She's the main character, really.
Yeah. I assumed as such. Like, in the reboot, even if it's called Roseanne, you wouldn't assume that she's going to be the lead forever. And you wouldn't put all your.
They do an awesome job of like explaining away those 2 seasons. Like I think it's 2 seasons that they did without Dan.
Right.
And it's like they're in the garage, and she's like, and he's looking through stuff. And he's like, "Oh look, it's that script you wrote." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I never did anything with it." He's like, "Yeah, it's because you killed the best character off like in the last couple like parts of the book." And then that's how they kind of deal with it. But like those 2 seasons were, I guess, like her writing of their life.
So it's like a Dallas thing, like
yeah.
Word.
And they just never address it again. They just leave it at that. So it's everyone thinks you're dead, and then he picks up the script, and that's it.
Interesting.
They actually had this week was the Johnny Galecki episode.
Anyways, we've started talking about Roseanne because
so I think we can wrap up on the CW because we got a lot out of our systems.
Yeah, I think you all get the point though. The human stuff was good. We didn't actually. We'll do this more in the chat. I guess we'll hold an official vote. At this point, I'm willing to give Supergirl one more episode because maybe they can find their foot. But Supergirl's on the edge.
I do feel bad even considering this because like this is a show I want to like, and I don't want anyone to consider giving us any flack for it. But like, we have given this far longer than we gave Gotham.
I love season 1
Yeah.
and really liked season 2, but the ending of season 2 just left me so
And the
in
difference
weird
between
spots.
the difference between this show and the other shows in this network is that Legends of Tomorrow has maintained momentum from a rocky, like season 1 is lopsided, I would say. But I think it has a good ending. Season 2 is fantastic. Season 3 is fantastic. Flash has goodwill from its first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
That is starting to run out.
Well, just like Arrow had.
And Arrow kind of comes and goes. And
Yeah.
Supergirl has been one note since the first season.
It's hard for me to. The idea that we're gonna have to cut this show at some point is bothersome because, like, I spent so much time defending this show, like, from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, there was weeks at a time where I was the only person who was on this show's side, or at least that's how it felt. So for me to be turning on this show, it's like, wow, this show's really doesn't care anymore, or the writers don't care, or the writers don't understand what made the show interesting in the first place.
I think it's that. I think they just don't understand what's interesting, and they don't know what to do with a Kryptonian or any character that's that overpowered.
Because, like, the stuff in the first season that people really got attached to is, like, it was a good show for young girls to watch. Like, like, young girls got really into it, which is a good thing. That's a great thing. I was so happy to hear that. In the same way that I'm glad, like, young black kids were super excited in Black Panther. That made me happy. And then in season 2, like, the Trump stuff, like, there were multiple episodes where it's like, wow, this is commenting on things that just happened. This is an episode about deportation and shit like that, and that was at least interesting. And then this season is just like, okay.
Now we've got dollar store doomsdays.
Yeah, we got Porn Sauron just, like, showing up, and Odette Eustman killing what's left of her career, I guess.
the death throes of her acting career.
Mm-hmm. It's like, wow, okay. I mean, I guess if that's what you want to do. If that's how you want to do it. I'd almost rather you make a Unborn 2 or something like that, because Jesus Christ, this is just sad. Yeah, I don't know. We can. Wow, we did 2 hours on this.
There was a lot to unload this week. If best case scenario, I say we give Supergirl to the end of the season.
Here's the thing: if
I can keep watching it, like, I can do it if you need someone that will actually watch it.
I don't think I can go till June 22nd on this. I don't think I can.
That's the problem. We're only on
That sounds like
we're on episode 14 of this season, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Like, this show will end...
And this is going to be 25?
Yeah, no, like 20, 22 or something like that. This show will end when Luke Cage airs and when Preacher starts airing. Okay? That's how late this show is going compared to the rest of it.
Oh, no.
So I don't know if I can make it that far, because unless the show picks up.
And here's the thing, like, from a scheduling perspective, we've got Titans on the horizon.
We got Titans.
Well,
we're going to be covering Legion. I mean, there's going to be a point where we're covering Legion and Supergirl, and that's it for a couple weeks there.
Yeah, and like, we've opted not to cover shows like Walking Dead because why?
Because it's the same thing over and over again.
We gave Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a shot. It didn't hold our collective interest. And, like, personally, to people who really give a shit about that show, I apologize.
Yeah.
But it's for us, and it was decided between a bunch of us as a group. It did not keep us.
Yeah.
Because we got in because of Ghost Rider, and then we lost interest.
Yeah. And also, like, here's the thing, like, what makes Supergirl what makes me more angry about Supergirl is this. I've only heard good things about Gifted. And we could have spent all this time that we spent on Supergirl on that.
Honestly, I would have said you guys should watch The Runaways, because I haven't watched Gifted, but Runaways I actually thought was really good on Hulu.
The problem with Runaways is it requires us to get a Hulu subscription, or at least pirate it, in Connor's case. Not to point any fingers, but so that's the real, like, thing for me is, like, doing that for a couple months is not something I'm into. But
well, actually, because I have a bank card called I have an online bank, and through it I get discounts on certain services, and I just realized the other day I get like $5 off a Hulu subscription.
I mean, this summer I'm into like going back and doing the Runaways if we want to.
I really enjoyed that show. I know my wife did, and it's really, I think it's only like 12 episodes.
Oh shit.
The thing is just too much. So like the reason I bring up The Gift is because I've only heard good things about The Gifted. I'm not saying that I haven't heard good things about the Runaways. I've only
be
heard
interested
good
to
things
see,
about
since they're very similar, like kind of young kids with power shows, to see how those two shows.
And and we're gonna have to give Cloak and Dagger at least a fair shot, even though like I'm already ready to push it off the fucking plank.
I will definitely watch a couple episodes of it.
Well, we're definitely doing a pilot review. That's happening because if it's free and easily available for us to watch, we'll do a pilot review. That's my thought on that always. Like when New Warriors comes out, if it's easy for us to watch the pilot, we'll do a pilot review because there's nothing wrong with that.
Is that on Hulu or is that on?
That's ABC's new streaming service that they haven't quite named yet, but it's happening. So
okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's
how far off is that even?
That's the thing. They're cagey about it. They announced who was going to be in it like around this time last year.
Yeah, it was just like a year ago, and there's been like no news about it.
No, they had a cast and they had a director, and then it's been radio silent since then. Anyways, like, point is, Supergirl's really disappointing because we could have been covering other things that were maybe more worth our time. If Preacher is really bad this summer, I'm up for not continuing to review Preacher because I'd rather spend time on things that we really want to spotlight than on things that we don't care about. If none of us are super into Luke Cage season 2, I'm okay with dropping Luke Cage. I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, if they announce an Iron Fist season 2, I'm not doing it.
They have announced it.
I'll watch it.
But it's with a new showrunner. So we kind of have to give them the benefit of the doubt of, like, it's a new showrunner. It's a guy who was there on season 1, but he wasn't in charge. So he probably knows everything that went wrong. You kind of have to treat it like it's a new, fresh start.
And they're also not going to be rushing the production as much because what I remember, they rushed Iron Fist.
It was like 7 months from Scott Buck getting hired to the show getting shot. And like
they were trying to get to Defenders. That was the whole thing.
Whereas like Daredevil had 2 years.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones had like 3 years. Luke Cage had 4 years. So yeah. It's
Punisher had like 2 years, I think.
Yeah, multiple years if you're including time.
Yeah, that had time to gestate.
Yeah.
But I think we can wrap up now.
Yeah.
This becomes a 3-hour-long episode.
Even 2 hours. So, with plugs.
So yeah, that's everything. So I'm Connor McGraw. You know where to find me. I might have said in the horror podcast or what we did last night. There's a tech delay in Movie Dumpster right now. Sean's computer died. So no episode this week. We don't know when the next episode is going to come out, but hopefully soon. Runestone was the episode coming out, and then after that we're doing Frankenstein's Army. So be patient; those will come out soon enough.
That's right. Also, you're gonna have a lot of Connor coming up here real soon. You're gonna have a lot of us coming up here real soon.
To put it in perspective, when did we record the Harrow? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tuesday, I was on Los Harrow.
Yeah.
Wednesday, we recorded the pilot for Shadow Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, didn't record anything. Friday, we did Legion review. Today, we did CW. Tomorrow is an After Dark.
Yep.
I have been talking into a microphone for like 12 hours this week.
Yes. There's a lot of stuff. And also next week, if things go right, we are doing our Infinity War review that weekend. I'm crossing my fingers because I'm
trying to get tickets because the theater's filling the fuck up.
Yeah, I had to go for Friday morning because
I might have to do front row 3D, and I'm very upset about it.
Are any of you guys doing IMAX or no?
I don't have access to that. Well, I mean, I do, but I'm not taking a bus to the IMAX theater here.
Okay. Yeah. There's like 2 by me, but one of them is in the Air and Space Museum, and it's a little wonky, and sometimes they don't show.
If I have to, and I will return to this quote because Arlen brought it up to my attention recently. I will push a child.
Yeah.
To get into Infinity War.
I have a FOMAX, but it's still better than regular, so that's what I'm doing. I'm skipping class to go to that, so yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I forget that you're a child.
No, I've just been in school for like ever. I've been in school for 6 years, so it's like Jesus.
Oh, it's all right. I did the same thing, and I don't do anything with my degree.
Anyway. Plug your stuff, guys.
AA Haro on all the places. I've been thinking about. I have another Instagram, and it's called Space Columbo, and doing some weird shit with that. So I might be doing some things on there, some weird, artsy, weird stuff there. So maybe check that out. I don't know.
On that note, real quick to interject, I may be creating a new Facebook page and nuking my original one just to basically promote all the stuff I'm doing, so that might happen. I haven't decided yet. Seems like a lot of work.
Interesting. Also, Hunter, don't follow him anywhere, but
yeah, because he's asleep now.
Yeah. I guess mine. I think I'm Lou A. Gonzalez on Twitter and Instagram. If you follow my Twitter, it's just my beers I drink. Nice. So I go to breweries all the time. I usually post up whatever I'm drinking. I'm in the Phantom Zone all the time.
Sweet.
Alrighty then. That was our very rage-filled CW review for the week.
Yeah.
Alrighty. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Adios.
Fuck X-Men Apocalypse. And the Flash.
Fuck Barry Allen.
Yeah, fuck Barry Allen.
Fuck Lauren Giordano. Bye.